From leaving The Witcher for Superman, to losing Superman and his future in Hollywood, this is how DC ruined Henry Cavill's career.
Let's put our cards on the table here, General.
You're scared of me because you can't control me. You don't. And you never will.
The last few months haven't been great for Henry. He quit the Witcher franchise, and turns out he's not returning as Superman. But what does this mean for his career? The British actor has always had a bit of a rough time in Hollywood before he landed the big gigs we know and love him for. He was that one actor who would come extremely close to getting a big role, but would be rejected at the last minute. He didn't get Cedric Diggory in the Harry Potter franchise, or even Batman, which is funny, because he lost out to those two roles to the same actor, Robert Pattinson. He was a major contender for James Bond in Casino Royale, and even turned down a leading role in 300 because he was holding out for Bond, but ended up not getting it because the producers thought he was too young for this Bond, giving the role to Daniel Craig. Ironically, he didn't get Superman. Yeah, the first time he auditioned for Superman, he didn't get it. He would go on to star in Capture the Castle, Hellraiser, Hellworld, Red Riding Hood, until his groundbreaking role in Man of Steel. Although, I saw Henry Cavill first in The Man from U.N.C.L.E., a spy movie that you should definitely watch. Now Henry Cavill has made it as a Hollywood A-lister and is a face and name known to millions worldwide. What's sad is, from the looks of it, many of us are concerned that his career is coming full circle. From being the actor who couldn't land a gig, to a megastar with a seemingly stable career, now finally once again, he's the actor being constantly dropped from projects. We should probably talk a little bit of the drama that surrounds Henry Cavill. Henry's relationship with the DC Universe was hardly ever a relationship, really. It was more like a toxic situationship. So many were shocked last October, when he was first told to announce the big news of his return as Superman. Someone even tweeted, "Someone pinch me. I'm dreaming." I mean, we could all use a pinch, because with that chin, Henry Cavill is truly the perfect Clark Kent. His Instagram referenced the after-credits scene for Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam. British heartthrob Henry Cavill revealed that Superman's cameo was just a teaser, and we can expect a lot more. But then we were dropped with a bomb, and the star had to admit we won't have any reason to pinch ourselves, because this is not a dream, it's a nightmare. DC Studios executives James Gunn and Peter Safran are rebooting the DC franchise and replacing a lot of the original characters for a younger cast. The Guardians of the Galaxy director will write the next Superman movie, and unlike Matt Reeves' Batman, it won't be an origin story. Instead, it will follow Superman in his early years as a superhero, starting with Clark Kent's days as a reporter in Metropolis. Is Clark Kent going to look a lot younger in the new Superman film? Probably, especially when David Corenswet is the lead contender for the new role. If you look at pictures of him, he literally looks like a younger Henry Cavill. The way Warner Brothers Studios told Cavill it was over was cruel, and the consequences of that mess run deep. It did worse things to the actor's career than just costing him the huge franchise. You've got to admit, bruising his ego has set in motion a sort of domino effect that cost him another big gig as well. The Witcher. We all know that this one hurt more than the loss of Superman, because honestly, we were getting used to DC without Henry. But there isn't a Geralt without him. Now, the truth of his resignation from the Netflix show, unlike Superman, Henry was the one who wanted to leave. This is because the creators were deviating offensively too much from the source material of The Witcher, which was a novel and a video game. A video game that Henry Cavill was a huge fan of, so naturally he had a great passion for the show, and the creators were taking this for granted. The creators betrayed him by first promising to stick to the books and then didn't. So Henry left the show, and I'm sure he felt comfortable leaving the show, knowing that he had a big project set up for him, so he could go from one thing to the next and not worry about his career or livelihood. So he left The Witcher, thinking he'd be safe with DC. But we know how that turned out. Fast forward to now, and his career isn't looking great when he keeps losing gigs like it's his job. The remake of the 1986 Highlander show was rumored to star Henry Cavill, but turns out he was dropped from that multi-million-dollar project earlier this year as well. Chris Hemsworth will most probably be replacing him, and the bad news just keeps rolling in. There was a moment when we thought our Henry Cavill James Bond arc might happen. While Henry was one of the favorites for the role, sources are now claiming that the franchise is eyeing Aaron Taylor Johnson instead. It seems like the end of Cavill's career is inevitable and catching up with him faster than we can react to it. But don't worry, all is not lost. There's no denying that Henry has faced some serious betrayal and career doom these past few months, but we have to remember that he is not new to Hollywood. He has enough resources and a whole ton of skill to carve a path forward after all of the disappointment has been dealt with. Yes, losing out on multi-million-dollar projects and possibly burning those bridges is a huge bummer. It might even affect his reputation with other big studios. Huge franchises walking out on and abandoning you is not a good look. But let's stay positive about this. Henry Cavill has something to call his next big thing, and it's another passion project. The man is living his dreams. Say hello to a Warhammer 40,000 live adaptation by Amazon Prime. The budget is going to be crazy, but what's better is that he's not only starring in the series, but he is also producing it. As possibly the biggest gaming nerd in Hollywood, there's no doubt he'll put his passion to work and nail it for the rest of us. So, we might have been worried about Henry Cavill's future, but with a deal with Amazon, he won't have much to worry about career-wise. Plus, he will get to work with Guy Ritchie, who is one of the most fun directors out there, and Henry will be on our screens again in 2024. A Guy Ritchie film called The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare also sounds way more interesting than whatever DC is trying to cook up with the new superheroes. Maybe I'm salty. Can you blame me? So, it's a World War II film about a group of English soldiers who used unconventional ways to fight on Winston Churchill's orders. Sign me up. Also, if you are a follower of Henry Cavill's Instagram, you may recall a photo of himself and Dua Lipa dancing all dressed up. That is from a movie called Argylle, which tells the tale of a spy who has amnesia and seeks retribution from those who have wronged him as soon as he gets his memory back. The cast is incredible, with Henry, Dua Lipa, and Samuel L. Jackson side by side. These are all badass new projects that Henry will be a part of, but we will also get a chance to see a lighter, softer side with Henry in the movie version of the book, The Rosie Project. It's about a grumpy professor who is single and creates a detailed questionnaire to locate the ideal woman. Although the movie is still in its early stages of production, and we don't even know the full cast, he ends up meeting someone who doesn't fit all of his criteria, but it is interesting. So yeah, there's a lot more Henry to look forward to. And as much as his recent setbacks may have been disappointing, it looks like he may be gaining more than he lost. From losing the biggest roles of his life to giving us that comeback arc we all die for, this is how DC almost ruined Henry Cavill's career.